Hey everybody, it is the 20th of April 2010, and I'm trying to pay attention to a particular article that came out today on the Associated Press. And the article states Goldman Sachs said Tuesday its first quarter earnings almost doubled to 3.3 billion as its trading business again surpassed the rest of the financial industry. A top lawyer for the bank, which is facing civil fraud charges, said Goldman would never intentionally mislead anyone. Wow, let's look back at the article and see what they're trying to tell us so we can pay attention. And well, it's first told us that their quarter earnings for January, February, and March was about $3 billion, meaning that's about $1 billion per month. And well, they're doing very, very well. Let's just put it that way. And well, the next thing that they said was that they are the best in the industry as it surpassed the rest of the financial industry. So they are telling us they are at the top. So now what we've got is that they've made money, they're at the top in their field. Next one says that a lawyer for the bank, which is so a lawyer who is facing fraud charges, said never intentionally mislead anyone. Now, how I put this is if anyone is in trouble because they've done things, and let's assume that their fraud charges are correct, would you expect them to say the truth in this situation here, especially when they have denied the case? For obviously, if you deny a case in which you are guilty, well, then most of the time things you say are well, misleading, I would say. Nonetheless, what is your opinion on this particular statement? Because I don't want to talk too much about it. I want to pay attention to that, but there's something more in particular I want to pay attention to even more in this video. And well, that's in the next article or the next paragraph. Goldman Sachs has earned $5.59 a share on revenue of 12.75 billion as bond, commodity, and currency trading buoyed, booyah, like Jim Cramer. I don't know. I did look it up. It just means to stay afloat to how you were doing. They stayed afloat with their profits for yet another quarter. That was well above expectations of analysts surveyed by Thomson's Reuters. It was Goldman's second most profitable quarter since going public in 1999. In the fourth quarter, Goldman earned a record 4.75 billion. Goldman Sachs also reported sharply higher fees from underwriting stock and debt offerings. Alrighty, let's look back at this paragraph again, sort of like we did in the previous one. They told us how much their earnings were per share, which is about $5.50. And how did they make their money? Well, it was revenue, and they gave us a number, 12.78, and it was as bond, commodity, and currency trading. So that's what they're doing. They are trading to make their money. Therefore, say a commodity, they buy gold at 960, they sell it at 1220. I don't know if they can know when the top would be. I'd have no idea. That's just up for debate, or even one of those words like conspiracy, which is just an evil word in some people's mind. Nonetheless, they uh, they made money this way, and well, it was well above what they thought. At least from this company, I don't know how they figured it out. They have never really, at least I've never seen how they figured it out. So I'm not paying attention that way, I guess. And if Goldman Sachs was their most profitable quarter, so they seem to be doing very well. And well, their money comes from bond, commodity, and currency trading. We've seen early on that they said that it's a trading business. That's how they make their money. And I'm kind of wonder how is this good for an economy to make what really is wagers on whether something is going to be going higher or lower and trying to pick tops and bottoms. And well, I'm trying to pay attention to how the game works, and the way I have been told how stock markets work anyway is that well, if somebody makes $100, that means somebody is losing 100, and it could be multiple micro pennies from many different people. Therefore, if they have made 12.78 billion, that must mean there are individuals and companies and institutions who are well losing 12.75 billion. At least I'm trying to pay attention to figure out that to be the case. with that being stated, I said if it was $100, there were many people losing micro pennies. Well, here there's a bunch of people losing micro billions. But every day we lose micro billions and we make micro billions in a day. You go to the gas station and you spend $35 on gas, you essentially paid micro billions, which turned out to be $35. But nonetheless, I'm thinking, well, is this not as comparable to, say, doing this, making wagers on individual sports games? Say hockey, you got the Penguins and the Senators, and well, this is a way you can make or lose money by betting on one side or the other. It's almost like saying, well, going long is like taking the Pittsburgh Penguins, and going short is like taking the Ottawa Senators. And there's just like there's so many different stocks and different ways, bonds, currencies. There's so many different ways of playing, and well, this is the more common ways, other than maybe this proposition bet, like the total amount of goals that would be scored in a game, and well, you got the NBA playoffs, the Bucks and the Hawks, and people say that because the Yankees are so popular, that the bookies make it so that the odds for the Yankees are a little worse than they should be, meaning if you always bet against the Yankees every day, on the long run you're going to win. I don't know if that's true or not, but nonetheless, if hypothetically speaking, if say Goldman Sachs were to say bet on sports rather than on bonds, commodities, currencies, equities, even, and they were to make this sort of money because they were smart enough to figure out the games, or there were conspiracies to how games would be finished, who would be paying the bill? The answer to that would be the casinos, maybe the insurance companies that they would essentially have to bail out. And I wonder, how does this help the economy as far as giving us food, shelter, energy, and all of our necessities in life? I'd love to hear your comments and try to figure it out. Thank you, everybody.